I don't. Yep.
I think there's enough to put the pump in already. Even if it is draining,
holy cow.
the pump will only help. I think they need the pump.
That is not good. Not good.
Beck's Practical Farm Research is here to help you turn your products and practices into profit. You've got questions, we've got answers. This is Ask PFR.
Y'all are probably thinking the same thing we are, that we're really concerned about whether or not this crop's going to come up. And one of the most important things is that as you think about survivability of that corn seed is getting the water off the field, because oxygen is still needed in a young corn seedling. So we're going to go find out what we can do to get some of this water off one of our fields. Hey, we're talking here about that field. Are you going to have to pump again, or is it okay?
It depends how much rain we get. If that creek backs up to where that tile is like it did last time, we're going to have to.
One of the things, you know, we get a lot of questions about this time of year right now too is, I got a little tour, you know, V2, V3 seedling. It's underwater. How long do you think it's going to survive? Given that it's 50-degree temperatures, what's your thought on how long it's going to survive?
I mean, you don't want it completely underwater. It kind of depends on what kind of row cleaners you're running. If there's a seed trench that's holding that water, or if it's actually going to flow off in the next day. Kind of depends on how dry you were before it rained. I mean, rain's different everywhere right now. So.
Right. The blessing, the one blessing about these cool temperatures is the survivability is a little bit longer, but man, 24, 48 hours beyond that, you start getting oxygen depletion after about 48 hours. So after that, we're probably going to be in trouble down there in that field.
Right.
So, all right. See you guys. Thanks. Yep. So we're gonna go take a look at that field actually, because I really want to make sure we're trying to do everything we can to keep the water off. We're gonna get this question a lot, is probably have to replant. How do I make that decision? What are the parameters around it? What kind of stand should I keep? And I know we've done research for what, 7 or 8 years, Jason, isn't that right?
Yep, eight plus years with that replant scenario, and we simulate that, you know, that kind of threshold of that 20,000 stand, and we simulate a sporadic 20,000 stand,
which is real world, right? Last time I checked, I've never seen a poor stand that was evenly poor, right? Which is why we simulate a poor stand. And I think one of the things we've learned over 7 or 8 years of data, and Jason and I were looking at the data, the PFR data this morning, in fact, for the most part, if you've got, and you planted middle to the end of April, and if you've got 20,000 plants per acre unevenly spaced, once you get past the middle of May, and Jason, you correct me if I'm wrong, but once we get past the middle of May, you know what? It's probably not going to pay to replant.
Yeah. Our data shows they're kind of towards that latter half of May. Your chances of an economic return are just start to get very slim. Come June, according to our data and what the research we've done, there isn't an economic advantage at that point to replant corn. So, you know, you may have some options to plant some spots with soybeans in the ground at that point to have a better economic advantage, or you leave it. You know, the thing I like to talk about a lot with growers is sometimes you just got to be patient too. A lot of times we want to make that decision sooner than when we should. So be patient when considering whether to replant or not, because sometimes we can jump the gun and actually make that wrong decision a little too quickly.
So, you know what? You look in our grass waterways right there, you can see we're dealing with the exact same thing you are, and that's water. This year, right now, this spring, it's the biggest issue we've got. So I know, again, you've got 3 concerns. How long will the corn seed last? Probably longer than you think. These advanced seed treatments are very, very helpful, but there's a limit. And it's chemistry, right, and oxygen, but trying to make sure you get the water off the field is the most important thing. What about replant? Again, I would just tell you it's probably, first of all, I would always say replant is the worst operation anybody can make. Jason, you probably know this too. It's the worst operation you have to do in agriculture, in my opinion, is replanting, because there's no right answer. You never know what's going to happen. The other thing I would tell you about replanting is, just because you replant the middle of May doesn't mean you're going to get a stand. Okay, that does not, you may have another goose drowner right after that, and that may not come up, which is another reason why it's a good idea to keep, you know, if you got 20 to 22,000, keep it. So hey everybody, that's a wrap for this first edition of Ask PFR. We're really excited about this program because, you know what, during the course of the growing season, we're walking right beside you. We're experiencing the same things that you do on your farm. So if there's something you've seen in a past PFR book or a study that we're doing that interests you or maybe applicable to your farm, send us that question. Use social media, use the hashtag AskPFR, because we want you to determine to drive the content that we're going to use. So send us your questions on social media using the hashtag AskPFR. We'll let you drive our content and make this a program that hopefully helps drive success on your farm this year and in many years in the future. Thanks everybody, have a great day. We'll look forward to talking to you on the next edition of Ask PFR.